Greetings, chess players. My name is Chris Torres. This is Daily Chess Musings, and this is the summer chess camp from 2025. I Let me see what this pop-up is here. Okay, it went away. Um, I am really excited because it is a Monday, and I scheduled a Morphy Monday. So you guys found out earlier about the life of Paul Morphy while seeing the Opera House game, the famous Night at the Opera game. I'm quite proud of that video. I'll put the link in the description of this video to the Night at the Opera game because it actually won an award for best chess lesson. The year that I put it out, and that award was voted on by other chess teachers and writers with the Chess Journalists of America. So I was quite pleased with that. I hope you enjoyed that presentation. And now, that was the most famous Paul Morphy game ever played. I'm going to show you a much less famous game. Over the years, I've gone through hundreds of Paul Morphy games. And what I've done, the first time I played through them, I probably just played through them. But what I started doing was I started writing notes to myself about the games. And it's a very good practice, and you can learn a lot by doing this. So I was looking through my old notes on Paul Morphy games and deciding which one I wanted to show today out of these hundreds of games. And I found this game by Paul Morphy versus Isaac Hart. Now, Paul Morphy had been playing a lot of games against his friend Charles Morian around this time, but he played a one game against Isaac Hart right in the middle of these games. At least it is in my database. And this was played in 1854. So Paul Morphy was 17 years old when he played this game. Now remember, Paul Morphy had already graduated law school, but couldn't practice as a lawyer when he was 18. So he was probably already graduated at 17. I would need to double check that. But he was really starting to focus on chess. And we're going to see a splendid example of one of hundreds, literally hundreds, that Paul Morphy. My voice is really low. Let me turn the microphone up just a little bit. Can you hear? Is that a little better? Go ahead and say in chat, because I want you to be able to hear the lesson well. All right. I will also project a little more while I'm talking. I think that'll probably help. Okay, let's get started with the live lesson. All right, so there is our picture of Paul Morphy. And I need to have my chessboard. Megan? I don't have my chessboard.
What?
I don't have my chessboard. I went to switch to live lesson. And my voice is a little low. People are having a hard time hearing me, so maybe we can fix that while we're at it. There we go.
Well, I mean...
Microphone's all the way up. Try adjusting the volume on your computer, too. All right, so here we go. Paul Morphy is white, and he plays E up. Megan, I just messed. Nope, I'm all right. I need to go to my chess.com. I went to move it in my YouTube window. Silly me. All right, Paul Morphy is white, and he plays E4. And black, why isn't it showing me the moves? I may need to reload this. Hang on. I'm going to reload, and hopefully, Megan? Yeah, chess.com timed out on me. Let me try. Megan? Megan? Ah, I think it just restarted for me.
Did you call again?
Yeah, chess.com timed out on me, and now I believe it is working. All right. Hopefully it continues. Yeah. Just stick around because I can tell today's a day of technical challenges. All right.
I'm still downstairs.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That's fine. E4. Paul Morphy plays E4. This is his favorite opening move, also favorite of Bobby Fischer's. Idea is you get a pawn in the center, you're controlling D5. It also is nice because it opens up diagonal for your bishop. A lot of good reasons to play E4. Black meets him there, E5. And again, black is Isaac Hart. So Isaac Hart is controlling the square D4 with his pawn. Remember, I talk about this a lot in my lessons. You don't control the square that your pawn occupies. You control the square that your pawn's threatening. Some people get that a little backwards, and understanding that basic part of chess is very, very important. All right, so knight f3. Knights before bishops is the guideline that we like to use. It's because knights take a while to get to where they want to go. Bishops move across the board much faster. Where do knights want to go? Knights want to get, if you're an attacking chess player like Paul Morphy, they want to get within the quadrant of your opponent's king, or at least on your opponent's side of the board. And it takes a couple hops to get them there, so it makes sense to pull a knight out. This knight is threatening e5. So white, Paul Morphy, is now controlling the e5 square. Let's see what Isaac Hart does. And I'll be checking in on the chat too, periodically. Let me go back and do that. Great. And it looks good. Feel free to, I'm going to ask you some questions in a bit. Isaac Hart plays the most common move, which is knight c6. Also develops a piece. Both sides have one knight developed, one pawn in the center. And white's knight and black's knight are fighting for control of the e5 square. And Paul Morphy decides to play d4. So he adds a third attacker on the e5 square. But he's offering d4 to black's e5 pawn right now. This is the Scotch game. Leo, quiet down. Previously, Paul Morphy's favorite move here would probably be bishop c4, which is the Italian game. Bishop b5 is also very popular. And knight c3 is the four knights. But this is the Scotch game. Why is it called the Scotch game? I'll tell you a secret. Back in the day, Edinburgh, which was the capital of Scotland, was playing a game against London, the capital of England. And let me see if I have a date on that game. 1824. That game started just like this in the year 1824, so 30 years prior to Paul Morphy playing it. And it henceforth became known as the Scotch game because the players from Edinburgh, Scotland, were playing the white pieces. So they played d4. Black takes, I'm sure. Yep, best move. And then you could take back if you're white, and that's the Scotch game. And black has a ton of options. You need to study it if you want to play it. It's a good opening. If you take back, black could play knight f6, bishop b4. So let me just go ahead and show you this. They could do this. That's fine. They could do this. That's fine. They could do this. That's fine. And even this is quite interesting. All of these are lines that a Scotch game player should know how they're going to handle. But Morphy does something else. Morphy plays bishop c4. And so, let's see. It starts to have a little bit of an Italian flavor now because we have a knight on f3 and a bishop on c4. He develops the bishop to c4. It's targeting f7. He's leaving this pawn alone. So he's down one pawn. So this, since he gave away a pawn to gain development, is known as the Scotch Gambit. And let's see what Isaac plays. Ooh, interesting. Isaac just plays d6. This move can be quite useful, because if you play knight f6, it's helping to stop e5, right? It's opening up this diagonal for the bishop. It's a slow pawn move, but it can be quite useful. There are other choices Black could have played here. A little bit more active. Let's see what I have in my notes from back in the day. Of course, if knight f6 is played, e5, and then d5. So White's attacking Black's knight, and Black returns fire by attacking White's bishop. And then the bishop can move, and then the knight can move. And things get a little wild and exciting here. White picks up the pawn there, but Black develops with a threat now. And on the other side of that knight is White's belly button. That's a fun line. That's a fun line. And was certainly playable. Another idea. Let's see if I'm back to where I want to be. Another idea that Black could have played here would simply be bishop b4. And that's a check, and it's taking advantage of the fact that your advanced center pawn is interfering with c3. And so play normally there would continue like this. And right here, White has an interesting choice. You could take back with your pawn, forcing Black's bishop to move. Or, as I sometimes do here, I just castle. And then when they take here, why, I have my Danish Gambit bishops. For those of you who know how to play the Danish Gambit, I end up with the Danish Gambit bishops. And Black would have to be very, very careful. Very, very careful, because White has a big lead in time and force. All right, so let us go back to our actual game, where Scotch game, pawn takes, Scotch Gambit, and just d6. Well, Morphy could just go ahead and take, right? He could. But he is a gambitier. So he plays pawn to c3. Derail, develop, destroy are the 3 Ds of Gambit play. So Black's pawn went here, we derailed it, and then he's trying to derail it again. Black would have no center pawn, and he would have moved the same pawn 3 times. Derail, develop, destroy. Derail your opponent's center pawn out of the middle of the board, develop, and then destroy them. c3. Let's see. Black does take. And let me go ahead and start taking some guesses from you guys. What do you think White should play here? What do you think Paul Morphy's going to play? Go ahead, type in chat. What would you do here? I'll give you just a couple more moments to think about it. There's a couple really good options. I think there's one that's very natural, and then there's the one that Paul Morphy plays. All right. Those of you who said knight takes c3, good job. It's a fine move. It truly is. But Paul Morphy does not play that. Knight takes c3 makes perfect sense. White would have 3 pieces developed and a pawn in the center. Black only has 1, but Black has an extra pawn. And in fact, I think I have a game. Maybe I'll show you at the end of the lesson. Maybe I'll show you a bonus game. I have a nice game that Vasily Ivanchuk used knight takes c3 to beat Greg Shahad. And I've played this many, many times myself. However, Paul Morphy doesn't take back with the knight. Instead, he develops the queen, which creates a battery against the belly button. Now, probably taking with the knight is considered a better choice because you want to develop your knights, get them rolling. And the other problem, when you have a queen and a bishop like this, sometimes it means a knight a5 can fork them. And I am reconnected. Wonderful. Okay. So Paul Morphy plays queen b3. It's doubling up, but after that pawn's defended a second time, we have to worry about knight a5. Let's see what black does. Let's see what Isaac Hart does. Oh, he plays queen e7. That looks good. That looks good. Putting the queen in the same file as the king, defending f7 the second time. However, there is an important reason why queen d7 is better, and I don't want to give away everything, but just keep this in mind. We'll be talking about it more, but had he played queen d7, Morphy probably plays bishop d5 because he sees the fork coming, and then black could just play what, like knight e5 maybe, threatening a trade of knights, and then knight takes e5, pawn takes e5, and you aren't stopping this bishop from coming out. You aren't stopping this knight from coming out. Your queen is in an open file, and your queen and bishop are coordinated on the light squares. b7 is defended one time only, but we have some good counter tactics involving this pawn and this bishop's ability to come out. So this would have been a better choice for black. And in fact, I'm going to go as far as to say queen e7 was a mistake. A very subtle mistake. So I'm going to let you guess all of the remaining moves. What should Morphy play here? Black just played queen e7. What should Paul Morphy play? And while you're thinking about that, I know that there is a little bit of a delay between what is actually I don't know why I did that. Let me go back, double check. What happened to my chessboard? Why is my chessboard not showing up all of a sudden? It should be. Maybe when I go back to YouTube for some reason it's can you guys see the chessboard? There it is. Okay. So it looks like when I go to check my chat, you see part of the YouTube screen instead of the chessboard. So bear with me on that. While I'm waiting to see your ideas of what you think white should do, let me remind you, my name is Chris Torres. This is Daily Chess Musings. Daily Chess Musings started out as just a blog a long, long time ago. And then about 5 years ago, I turned the blog. I had a lot of fans of the blog. I had over 1,000 people that had subscribed to the blog, so I turned it into a community. I created a club on chess.com. I ran some free events. We do tournaments. And that community has grown. So we have, 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, over 2,000 members in the chess.com club. And It's a wonderful community. I'm quite proud of it. If an important part of playing chess is making friends, making connections, and having people to practice against in a healthy environment where everybody wants to get better. And that's what Daily Chess Musings is. And if you're part of this community, you have lots of chess friends, and that's wonderful. All right, let me take a look. Knight G5, I see. All right. So, and let me throw out your name. It was Suvama, and Pratik says knight takes c3, and Pratik says or bishop d5 or castle. All right, good. I'm glad some of you are all right. So knight g5. It's quite interesting, but I think it's really a little premature because this queen is still sitting in the file with our king. Yes, we're putting a lot of pressure on f7. Knight takes c3 looks really healthy. Looks like a really good move for sure. He could have done that. And that also defends the center pawn, right? And then you also mentioned castle. And castle is what Paul Morphy chose. It's very nice. It completes the second goal. We have a pawn in the center, and we've castled. But wait, a pawn in the center that black can take, right? Wrong. If black takes that pawn, it's poisoned. Their queen will be pinned to their king down the e-file. So you cannot take that pawn. And black plays pawn to b6. Let me make sure. This is move 7. Yep, b6. This is another slow move. It's a slow move. It also, for those of you who are more advanced chess players, creates some interesting light square weaknesses, right? That maybe we can really exploit. It's not a terrible move. It's actually not a terrible move. I have in my notes that the best move would be correcting the previous mistake. Now, chess players don't like to admit to mistakes. Computer chess players have no problem doing this. So if black was a computer, he would totally just move his queen over. Correct the mistake. And then we get into a similar situation. The only difference, to what I, to what I meant to play e5, to what I showed you, the only difference is when we do this and this, white's already castled. Same as what I showed you earlier, right? Correcting the mistake. You're just one move further behind. That would have been best. But b6 is all right. But this was a slow move. This was a slow move. And then this pawn moved 3 times. So that's 5 pawn moves. 5 pawn moves in the opening. This is the type of stuff that Morphy liked to encourage his opponents to do. These are the kinds of mistakes. Let me see. What do you guys think white should play here? Go ahead, let me know. I'll give you a few moments and I'll talk a little bit about a few other things. So what? Black just played a slow pawn move, presumably to fianchetto his bishop. What should Paul Morphy play here? Let me know in the YouTube chat. Let me say that if you're stumbling across this live stream right now, it's not too late to join the free online summer chess camp. Just go to dailychessmusings.com, click on free online summer chess camp 2025, and you can still be a part of the fun. And it's never too late to join our community. You just click the subscribe button on YouTube, go to chess.com, join the chess club there. Let's see. Anybody? Let's see. Okay. Yeah, we could still play bishop d5. We could. We could. And I think black kind of wanted that, the bishop d5, because they're planning on playing bishop b7. So good thought. However, Morphy does go with the other suggestion. This was suggested a move ago. Knight takes c3. So 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces developed versus 2. White's castled. Black's not. White has a center pawn. Black does not. Black has an extra pawn. Do you think that one extra pawn's worth all those disadvantages? Probably not. Probably not. Oh, good for you, Isaac. Good for you, Isaac Hart. I don't know much about Morphy's opponent here. Isaac Hart. I know he was born in Jamaica and died in Mississippi. And he was probably a friend of Charles Morian, because he was at this get-together where Morian played a lot of games against Paul Morphy. And Isaac also seems to be a pretty good chess player. He plays knight a5. So this is forking the bishop and the queen. And honestly, this position here, White's position here, we could have reached through the Italian game. We could have reached it through the Goring Gambit, which is kind of, similar to the Scotch Gambit and the Danish Gambit. But for sure, we could have reached this position through playing the Italian. And so we can consider this an Italian bishop. The Italian bishop is targeting f7, the belly button. Black wants to get rid of that. So it's a useful move. Morphy's not going to be happy getting rid of his Italian bishop. I think, probably a lot of us would, play a check here and do some exchanges that way. However, Morphy does not. I'm giving you a hint. He does not play a check here. So what does he do? He does not play a check. What does he do? Anybody know? Go ahead and type it in chat. I mean, I think I would probably play queen a4 check. But I am not Paul Morphy. Paul Morphy is one of the greatest chess players ever. Whoa, queen b5. Suvama? It's Suvama. Chinu, very good. Very good. Boron said queen a4, which is what I would have done. But queen b4 is the correct move, according to Paul Morphy. All right? And so, knight takes the bishop. There goes the Italian bishop. And, of course, queen recaptures. 1, 2, 3. Develop pieces, pawn in the center, versus 1 queen. That, honestly, this queen's in a bad spot. Now you're really starting to see why, if this queen were on d7 instead, things would be a little better. You would have the e7 square to develop to, and your light squared weaknesses would not be as significant with the queen on d7. So we're starting to see this problem. Plus, you don't want the king and queen sitting together for a very long time in a semi-open file. I mean, Morphy's going to take advantage of this. All right, so bishop e7. And think about this arrangement here. The king-queen in the same file as each other. Black's king and queen are still in the e file. And then tell me, what do you think Paul Morphy's going to play? What do you think he's going to play? Let me know in the chat. Again, there's a little bit of a delay. So I'll talk about myself a little bit here. My name is Chris Torres. I've been the scholastic coordinator for CalChess, which is the Northern California affiliate of the United States Chess Federation, for decades. I am everything to do with scholastic chess in Northern California. Beyond that, I am a correspondence chess master with the United States Chess Federation. And I've been teaching chess professionally since 1998. So a very long time. I've captured a lot of my teaching experiences on my blog at dailychessmusings.com. You can go on the blog and go back 17 years of teaching material, of photographs with students. I've taught national champions. I have a very fine track record of helping students achieve their goals. You can explore. There's so many good lessons there. But right now, we are wondering what you think white should do. What does Paul Morphy do here? Black just played bishop b7. What should white play? Bishop f4, queen to c6, or bishop d2, or bishop f4. Okay, so we have a lot of unifying the rook ideas. Good ideas. You get this bishop out, you've completed all three goals. Excellent. But Paul Morphy notices, hey, there's a queen and rook in the same file. What if black doesn't castle queenside? What if they take more time and somehow get castled kingside? Morphy wants black to go this way because of these light square weaknesses that were created way back when. The queen's on the wrong square. It's in front of the king. So he moves his rook to e1. Now, there's a threat of eliminating this pawn and pinning the queen to the king. I mean, you could scoot this up, try and eliminate it. There's a lot of threats with the rook being in the same file as the queen and king. There's also an old hint. If you don't know what to do in a chess game, ladies and gentlemen, put your rook in the same file as your opponent's queen. If you don't know what to do, try putting a rook in the same file as your opponent's queen, or a queen in the same file as your opponent's king. You'll find that good things happen when you do that. And good thing just happened. Black bails out castling queenside. That king is not terribly safe there. Notice it's in the same file as Morphy's queen, and the queen is in the same file as Morphy's rook, something I just talked about. And now white does play bishop f4, something you guys just suggested. Several of you just suggested it. These are the three opening goals in action, ladies and gentlemen. Pawn in the center, castle, unified rooks. Unified rooks means the rooks see each other. They're defending each other. They have access to all the files. First thing you want to do with your rooks is get them unified back here. Then you want to get them in an open file, and then sometimes unified vertically in an open file. But first, get them unified horizontally in your back rank. Make them a team. Coordinate your rooks. Let's see. Black plays f6, not because he wanted to move Freddy forward, but because he wants to stop e5 from getting played. Potentially, he wants to stop bishop g5 from getting played as well. But I think primarily he wanted to stop pawn e5. Let's see. Now, what do you think white should play here? Go ahead, type your ideas into chat. It is white's move. Isaac Hart just played pawn to f6. A slow move. Slow pawn move. He's played a lot of slow pawn moves, right? and then this, and this. That's a lot of pawn moves. Morphy's completed all 3 opening goals, but there's something he hasn't done yet. Hint, there is something Morphy hasn't done yet. Knight d5. A lot of people are suggesting it. Whoa! That's a good move. That's an excellent move. You move a knight into the quadrant of your opponent's king while threatening the queen. That's superb. However, Morphy hasn't touched this rook yet, and Morphy likes to touch all of his pieces. If this was an odds game, he wouldn't have this rook. He would have played without his rook on a1. He would have played knight d5 if this was a game at odds. But it's not. So Morphy takes his rook and puts it into the c file. So now he's got a rook and queen in the same file as his opponent's king. That's a lot of heat on c7. That's a lot of heat. Let's see what Isaac does. Isaac steps out of the heat. That's a good move. King b8. And now he plays your knight d5 idea. Advancing the knight, threatening the queen, and advancing it into the quadrant of your opponent's king. This is key. There are 4 quadrants on a chessboard. There are 4 quadrants. Let me go ahead. You know, some of you have never heard about this before. So there are 4 equal quadrants on the chessboard. Let me go ahead and draw the arrows so we make sure we understand what I am talking about. I'm teaching you how to be a great attacking chess player. Those are the 4 quadrants. Paul Morphy advanced a knight into the same quadrant as his opponent's king. And he did it while threatening the queen, so it doesn't cost him anything time-wise. So he either just moves his queen and then Morphy continues the attack, or he does what I think he should have done, which is takes the knight. But now this bishop's not there anymore, helping to control those light squares. The fianchettoed bishop is gone. If you castle behind a fianchetto, you kind of want to keep that bishop. And then, of course, ex d5. Discovered attack on the queen. Whoa. And now the queen needs to move. Guess where it goes? Where it should have been the whole time. Queen d7. Helping to control the light square weaknesses. It was so tempting to put it on e7 earlier, but the plan backfired. So queen d7. And now, after black plays move 15 queen d7, what do you think Paul Morphy plays? It's your chance to guess the move. This is how you should study games. There are 2 ways to study classic games. Guess the move is the most fun way. And then the least fun way, the hard work way, that is playing through the games and annotating them, writing your notes, like I've done. To 100 Paul Morphy games, I've written my notes to understand, to explain every move Paul Morphy makes. Every time Morphy makes a move, I have a note written why he did it. This is how you can really deeply understand a chess player. But the more fun way is just guess the move. So if your mom or dad has a book with or pulls up a Paul Morphy game on their phone, they can play one side. They could play the part of Isaac Hart and have you guess the moves. This is how I have trained many chess students. So hint, big hint there. Let's see. What do you guys think White should do? Guess the move. Knight d4, knight d4, knight d4. Awesome. You're right. Remember I said knights are close range attackers? This one's not quite in the quadrant yet, but it's within checking distance. That's pretty close. It's one move away from checking. Oh, smart move. Knight e7. This is a very smart move. It's guarding c6, and if this knight goes here to b5, if Morphy says, oh, I can't go to c6, I'll go to b5, slide my queen over here maybe, this knight can tuck in to defend h7 too. So this is a very good move. What do you think Paul Morphy does? He has all his pieces activated. His opponent is very cramped. His opponent's king has light square weaknesses all around it. What do you think? Anybody? While I'm waiting for you to give me this move, I want to talk a little bit about what's coming in this game. Paul Morphy here. This is the hard part. This is where Paul Morphy uses perfect attacking technique. He calculates through his opponent's best defenses and makes sure that his attack is fail-proof. He will play optimum attacking moves from here on out. Now, I've talked about this knight stopping our knight and this knight's ability to come in here to defend against h7. I've talked about both of those. So this knight is this was a good move by black to defend this hard position. And nope, not knight b5. Good try, though. Good try. Morphy plays an exchange sacrifice. Boom! There goes the knight. Rook takes e7. Optimum. Optimum chess. Bishop takes. Is this bishop going to help defend c6 or h7? No. Morphy got rid of perhaps his opponent's best defending piece with an exchange sacrifice. Now, if you play the right move here, you win. If you play the wrong move here, you lose your advantage. This is the key moment of the game. The biggest moment of this chess game is right now. What does Morphy play here? And I see somebody said rook takes e7. Pratik, got it. Typed in before he saw it in the video. So good for you for thinking of that. You need to play a perfect move here. There are two really good looking moves. If you're me, you see two really good looking moves. One of them works. One of them does not. Let's see. Queen to b5? No, this would trade queens. That would trade queens, right? And then this pawn can be defended a couple ways a second time. It's no big deal. So not queen b5. Let me check again. Knight c6. Okay. This would be where most of us would fail. What do I mean? I don't want to be hard on you for suggesting that, because I probably would have done it myself. Let's see who did that. Makeshift said knight c6. The problem with knight c6 is that it doesn't work. Our advantage evaporates. What do I mean by that? Well, knight c6. And then black could play king b7. This means the rooks could come over and defend if need be, right? So knight c6, queen b, king b7. You could try bringing the knight back to b4 so that you're threatening to come in here maybe. You could try that. But then the king could go to a8. Then you could try queen a6. So you could try and get your knight in here and say checkmate, right? But then black's queen could go to c8. And you don't want to trade queens, so you go back queen b5 maybe. And then black would say, let's trade queens. Queen d7, then queen a6, queen c8. And then you probably end up with a draw by repetition, right? All right. So knight c6 does not work. There is only one move that works here. If it's not knight c6, this would have been my mistake. If I hadn't seen this game already, I would have guessed knight c6. Get the knight in the quadrant with the king on the outpost with check and a fork. And I don't see the correct answer yet. Anybody want to chime in? There's one other really good looking move for white that forces, kind of forces keeps the checkmate threats alive. Queen a6. Pratik, you got it. Very good. Queen a6. Very good, Pratik. All right, so now the threat is obviously just check and then checkmate. If you say check, king moves, checkmate. Or you say check, queen takes, pawn takes, checkmate, right? Uh-oh. So black plays c5. Now the queen has access to defend against checkmate, and the king gets an extra fleeing square. So what do you think Paul Morphy does now? He, of course, planned for this. Black just played c5. He didn't want to have to advance the pawn shield. He advanced his pawn shield to defend. He didn't want to have to do that, but he needed to. Isaac Hart was no fish. Paul Morphy was extraordinary. Best in the world at the time. What does he play? Now people are saying knight b5. Not knight b5. Good try. There's a special move we can play. Black just moved their pawn up 2 squares. There's a special move. Correct. Pawn takes en passant. Queen's under attack. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Let's see what he plays. Queen c8. Trade queens with me. Please, Morphy, trade queens with me. Please, do this. Morphy says, mate in 8. Paul Morphy declared mate in 8. What does he play here? What starts the mate in 8? Not knight c6. That's our own pawn. Look at your checks, captures, and threats. I have a really good lesson on the checks, captures, and threats method that I'm sure we will be looking at this week. It's a very important method. You analyze all the checks, captures, and threats. While you're thinking about those, my name is Chris Torres. This is Daily Chess Musings. You can find out more about us, dailychessmusings.com, Daily Chess Musings, M-U-S-I-N-G-S, on YouTube, Daily Chess Musings on chess.com, Daily Chess Musings on Facebook. You can find out a lot more about me. Also, if you want to be my friend on chess.com, my handle is Coach Tortoise. COACHTORTOISE. That is my public handle on chess.com. Coach Tortoise. COACHTORTOISE. You can send me a friend request. I will accept. And a lot of times when I'm waiting to do online lessons, I play chess with some of my friends. Later on this week, you'll get a chance to play me. So you might as well send me a friend request. C7. Pratik got it. Suvama got it. Good job. C7 check. If you said C7 check, you guessed the best move. All right. King steps out of check. King A8. And now, what does Paul Morphy play? He's continuing this long mate in 8 sequence. He's doing it perfectly. He calculated all the possibilities. Go ahead, let me know what you think. I'll give you just a couple more minutes. Look at your checks, captures, and threats. We're almost to the end of the game. Go ahead, type it into chat. This is a live lesson. My name is Chris Torres. We are looking together in the Summer Chess Camp 2025. We are looking at Paul Morphy versus Isaac Hart, 1854. Paul Morphy was 17. This game took place in the South, so probably in Louisiana. I mean, Charles Morian came. We know that Isaac Hart was born in Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica, died in Mississippi. So probably he came with Morian to Paul Morphy's house, which is still there in Louisiana, by the way. You can have lunch at Paul Morphy's home. Knight to c6 is what is suggested. No. No. Watch what Morphy does. Cx d8 equals queen. He takes the rook, gets a queen. Then, now right here, rook takes d8 keeps you alive one move longer. And I'll show you that. This is what Morphy said when he said mate in 8. But Isaac Hart played qx d8. And now, knight b5, threatening checkmate. Queen goes to b8, defending against the checkmate. Rook goes to c7, threatening a7 3 times. And black resigns here because queen takes, knight takes, king goes to b8, knight b5. Doesn't matter what black does here. This and this are coming. Doesn't matter what he does. I mean, he could just play rook. We'll just put in a move. It doesn't matter. Boom, smack, checkmate. Alternatively, let's look at a couple alternative moves. So right here, Morphy takes. Pawn takes d8, turns into queen. And black could have played rook takes d8, but then after rook takes c8, then rook takes c8, queen takes c8, and that's checkmate. Let us see if there's any other alternatives. So pawn moves forward, says check. I mean, I guess queen could take, right? I guess queen could take there. And then we could just take with our rook. I was looking to see if I found a faster checkmate. And then king takes, and then queen takes, right? King can't move up because of our knight, so he has to go back. And then knight b5. And again, we're coming in here for checkmate, right? He could do any. We don't care what black plays. We could just throw in a move and then checkmate. Absolutely stunning, perfect chess. Let's look at the whole thing real fast together. So starting with e4, pawn in center, knights before bishops, Scotch game, Scotch Gambit. He doesn't take back, he develops. Slow move, but a good one. Stops the. It means you could play knight f6 because we were stopping e5. Maybe it opens the light bishop. It's a good move. c3. Derail, develop, destroy. 3 keys to a gambit. Take. And then knight takes c3 would have been excellent, but queen b3 is what's played. Doubling up on the belly button. Queen e7. Had black played queen d7, Morphy would have still figured out a way to win, but it was a better move. Castle, better not take that pawn, you lose your queen. So b6 creates light square weaknesses. Knight takes c3, develops a piece. Fork. Now, instead of playing the check, this is where I would have not played like Morphy again. So there are 3 points. I would have played knight takes c3 earlier instead of queen b3. I would have played queen a4 here instead of queen b4. In all honesty, this is what I would have done. I know it. Putting the rook in the same file as queen and king, forcing them, getting them to castle the way you want. Bishop f4, unifying rooks. f6, keeping the position as closed as possible. Rook a c1, stacking a battery in the same file as your opponent's king. They step out. Knight moves into the quadrant while attacking the queen. Pawn takes. Discovered threat on black's queen. Our knight moves within checking distance. Exchange sacrifice. Getting rid of the best defending piece at black's disposal before playing queen a6, because knight c6 doesn't work. There is a practical defense to knight c6. Paul Morphy played this incredibly well right here. You can put this in against any chess player in history, and this is equally as impressive. Getting rid of that knight, followed by queen a6. Those moves force black to lose. If you do it differently, if you do it in ways that seem better most of the time, it won't work. And I showed you during the lesson. C5, creating space for the king to flee and an ability for the queen to defend. En passant, check, capture, threaten mate, defend mate, threaten more. 3 times. 3 times the threat. Take, check, flee, doesn't matter, checkmate. Stunning chess game. Absolutely stunning chess game. Let me go back a screen here if I can figure out how to do this. Let's see. I can. Because I am... Here I am. I am back. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this great game. This was Paul Morphy versus Isaac Hart, 1854. And that was amazing chess. Amazing chess. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you learned a lot from what we talked about today. Thank you for those of you who guessed. I prefer, honestly, I prefer giving live classes, interacting, and so it was very important that you guys were typing in chat and guessing. I appreciate that. Otherwise, it feels like I'm just talking to myself, and I don't like that. And a lot of times I learn stuff from my students. I've learned a lot over the years from other coaches and my students. It is not too late to join the free online summer chess camp. It is not too late. Go ahead, go to dailychessmusings.com, join, do the assignments for Monday, and you are caught up. There is a tournament. If you didn't get into the tournament, if you messed up playing in the chess tournament today, there's the I Missed My Round tournament at 4 o'clock Pacific time. Go participate. You can earn extra points by playing in that too. And that is in less than an hour from now. It is in the Daily Chess Musings Club on chess.com. My name is Chris Torres. My handle on chess.com is Coach Tortoise. COACHTORTOISE. Coach Tortoise. No spaces. Go ahead, send me a friend request. Join the Daily Chess Musings Club on chess.com if you aren't already. Subscribe to this channel. If you like this lesson, go ahead and give it some likes. And I will see you guys again tomorrow for day 2 of the free online summer chess camp.